Greetings all, Shardvixen here, and it is August 5th, 2017. And our title today is Girls and, well, Females, and however you identify yourself. If it's a female, this is a video about you. And games, video games. Actually, it's really about female viewers of video games. No, female gamers who are viewing video games. Maybe. I don't know how you put that. Because at first I wanted to talk about how there wasn't that many YouTube creators who are female who play video games. But that's not true. There are a lot of female, well, based on the percentage of anything, of how many females there are anywhere, there are female video game players. So that's not really true, but what I have noticed is there aren't very many viewers of video games being played. And I'm not talking about mine, because I don't get very many views on my video games. I'm lucky if I get 2 or 3 people to watch them. And I'm sorry, my shoulders hurt really bad today. And I'm in the other room, the old room with the happy faces, because everybody loves happy faces, so they just stay there. But there's a bed in here now, a queen-size bed, and there's no place for me to sit. And it's a Saturday where everybody's home. And I didn't get up early. I played No Man's Sky first. Yes, I know. No, I never noticed. My nose is crooked. Or my head is. Maybe I'll turn my head. There we go. Oh, and so we're going to have some bounces, especially because I hit the camera thing all the time. I'm not far enough back. I'm not far enough back. The one thing I hate about getting old is that perpetual frown that you get. Because resting face, you don't keep your muscles up, so you have a little frown here. So I look like I'm frowning all the time. And I have problems anyway. People think I'm going to eat them. And I'm having a hair day. Sorry. It's just been about a week. This is going to be a tangent. Tangent warning, wait, tangent warning, wait. That's pretty annoying. It's just been a hard week. I turned 52 on Tuesday. Great. My birthday was okay. I had problems with electronics. And then that just kept going. The PS4 gave me problems, so my birthday stream, which I was supposed to have 3 of them, didn't turn out right. And then my tablet died. It won't work right anymore. In fact, so I took it in to have it checked at T-Mobile, and they said they couldn't fix it, but you could still use it to get on the internet. I told them what I needed a tablet for, so they gave me the next tablet up, which is heavier, but now has no video camera on it. So I have no video camera except to the old Samsung. So I will be switching back and forth, or I will take the old one back, and maybe, I don't know. I can't run anything on it except it looks like the internet and the camera. So I don't know. Maybe I'll make it a kids thing and I'll just use the camera on it. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet, but it's the irritation. And I got sun sick yesterday, so that's the irritation. And now let's get back to what I was talking about. Now that I've bitched and moaned about shit. Alright, so here's what I see. I go to a live stream. We'll do live streams, because one of the things I just discovered in the last couple of weeks is there are shitloads of people out there who just live stream instead of making videos, which is kind of interesting to me. Because you don't have to edit the video, so that's kind of cool. And I think that's why they do it, because it's really easy. Just, if you have a PS4, even now with a computer, it's so easy to just pop it on there, apparently, that why edit? You don't need to edit. Some people do still. They make a intro and an outro, which I may play with on the PS4. I just haven't got there yet, because I'm doing a lot of animation and deal with my illness. I've had a couple of doctor's appointments. There goes the bounce. It's an earthquake. That's all. Just think, if the bounce bothers you, don't watch it. Listen to it. Okay, so that was another tangent. Let's get on to this. It's a tangent from something I was talking about, which is about watching the stream. So I go to a stream of let's say, I'm going to give out a shout out. Oh, Old McReaver, one of my favorite streamers, right? So you're watching the stream, and not a single female but me is on there. Now, I'm used to being places where there's no females, or rare amount of females. But I'm curious, if you're a video game girl, if you're a video game chick out there, or an old female gamer chick, as I call myself, if you were out there, what are you watching? Because I'd like to know. I mean, I do research, and I go to channels, and, they have related channels, and they have friends of. But I haven't found that many of the gamer chicks out there are just playing games. And I get that. I don't just play games. I do vlogs. I do animation. I won't do makeup. I've already said that. It seems that to me doing makeup kind of is a limited audience value. I guess animation would be too, or even these vlogs. But it just seems like you're only targeting one section by a gender. Now, I know that males out there wear makeup, and that's awesome, and I encourage you to go visit some of those makeup channels. There's some awesome ones out there that do makeup and glamour makeup, like glamour girls from the 70s and things like that. I encourage that. But I'm very curious about the fact, and the weird sounds we're hearing is because next door they're putting a roof on. So I'm just curious as to why, if you're playing video games as a chick, who are you watching? Please tell me, because I haven't found that many. I found lots of girls playing video games, and I collect them and watch them. Pixel's out there. She plays video games. Josie Posey, she plays video games. I'm not sure who she watches. I know that she has friends of, so I'm going to guess it's probably the people she plays with. It's a time thing. I do know that. If you're watching, if you're a creator and you're trying to also watch YouTube, you have very little time. Animation for me gets in the way. But still, if I'm going to streams of so many people and you meet one or two females and that's it, and then they're not creators, they have the YouTube channel that everyone has so they can watch stuff. I'm sorry, my neck and shoulders are bothering me, so we're doing a twist. Why do we not have more viewers? Now, the other thing I want to talk about that irritates the fuck out of me is men who are, or I'm going to say females because I haven't met a few, and this is, again, not a genderized thing. It's if you identify as being male or if you identify as being female, I don't care. But society genderizes people, and then we accept those genderizations, as I've talked before. So what I'm talking about here are those people who have accepted the genderization of whatever sex they've decided they are. So if you're male, why do you feel the need to downgrade people who call themselves female who are playing video games? I mean, why are you sexist in that point? What is the issue of that? Why does it matter whether I have a vagina or a penis and how well I play a video game? I mean, some guys are better than me, and then some guys aren't. I can play games better than some guys. Oh my God, that's not true, Shardvixen. You're lying. No, really, there are games that I can play pretty well, that I understand better than, some of my peers. None of my peers are playing video games, so I don't know. I mean, if we're just talking about people of my age, not sexes, there's a lot of people out there playing, and most of them play better than me, or have played longer. Maybe they don't play better of a particular game, but they play longer and understand it better, like No Man's Sky, or Assassin's Creed, or Fallout. Fallout I do pretty well. I don't think I've had an issue with people. Or Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty. I played one Call of Duty, and I got another one, and it'll be being recorded soon. So what's up with that? I want to know. I want to know. It's a question I need to know. Because I'm curious. I mean, if you're a female and you're not coming to the stream and saying anything, I mean, maybe coming and watching, but you're not saying anything because you're fearful of being, you know, picked on, which is a great fear. Here's the thing. A lot of people out there, male and female, think, oh no, how could people be picking on you because you're female doing something that you shouldn't be doing? That would never happen in this day and age. Well, they're ostriches with their heads stuck in the sand, of course. Or they haven't had that experience. Maybe they don't do things like that. I remember, I started playing video games because I had a huge imagination, and as a child, we would do these fantastic voyages in my backyard. We could be like Tomb Raider and be out there exploring ancient pieces, or if you want, what's his name from Raiders of the Lost Ark? What can I think? Indiana Jones. But I was a female. I identified being a female, and I looked like a female. And I was born with a vagina, and I went out there and played and did all those things as well. It wasn't always like male characters. We did things like Tarzan, but I didn't play Tarzan. Sometimes I played Tarzan, but it wasn't like I had to play a female all the time. But on the same token, it wasn't that I couldn't play a female. I was the creator of the games. I was the one who was inviting people into my world. So from that, I remember I read comic books, like I told you, since I've been about 5, 6. It was my motivation to learn to read. And that exposed me to other worlds, the idea of other worlds, which then exposed me to wanting to read about, my mother read a lot of Andre Norton, but my very first books, of course, was Marion Zimmerman Bradley. And that inspired me to want to know about space and learning about space and wanting to be an astronaut and, you know, having ideas like that. Actually, I didn't really want to be an astronaut per se, but going to space would be awesome, and directing videos about that, movies or animation, seemed like a really cool thing. So I have always liked that. But I've also noticed that when I went into a comic book store when I was 16, it was all men. Men behind the counter, men buying comic books, men looking at me strange, men saying, oh, do you really read that comic book? Aren't you sure you read Archie? Well, I read Archie, but I like X-Men, or I like Spider-Man, or I like this one, or I like that one, or I saw Star Trek, I saw Aliens, I saw Star Wars. You know, I saw Star Wars when it first came out in the movie theater. So, but people would be like, oh, do you really collect that? Do you really? I mean, they like questioned me all the time, until I was in my 20s and 30s, and it started to become a mainstream thing, and women were kind of coming out of it. There were women saying, oh, they kind of like Star Trek, but you still didn't have women geeks, and I'm not going to make quotation marks because I'm holding my tripod, but, there was still, even now, if you look at and I'm going to have some for you guys, because I like to write them in the corner, of course. If you look at the statistics on it, there are still far less females who are interested in science of any form, except cooking. And cooking's a science, regardless of what the rest of y'all say, because you'd have to know it's a mathematically incorporation of ingredients, so it's a type of science. Or any type of thing like that where you have to engage in computation and statistics and understanding values and variables and experiments. Science. Okay? Hairdressers. Science. Because they have to do mixing and they have to know their ingredients and they have to work with chemicals. I mean, we've been doing science for a long time, so why are we not interested in science? And why are we not interested in video games? Now, my daughter's interested in video games. I exposed her. But again, the type of video games that she likes is a little different than per se, I mean, on average, that what my son likes. But I don't think it has anything to do with their gender. Now, maybe there's some type of research out there that does say there does. Maybe males are more likely to gravitate towards violent video games, while females are more apt to gravitate towards video games like Cooking Mama. I wouldn't know. My son owns that game. I don't own it. Again, I mean, I played it Cooking Mama, but and it's cute. It's a cute game, but it's not up there as a game I would play. Like, totally. My little mobile games is Puzzle and Dragons, which I now have to start over. Because I don't remember my device number. I didn't even think I'd ever need one. That's how it works for me. I never write anything down till it's too late. But I like No Man's Sky. I like COD. I like Fallout. I've played a little Halo. It's not one of my favorite. Maybe one of these times I'll take it from the beginning to the end. Assassin's Creed, absolutely my favorite. Number one. Fallout, Dragon Age, all that stuff. So, what's wrong with me? That was what it was always asked. What's wrong with you? There's something wrong with you. And then it became mainstream, and there's not so much wrong with me. But yet, out there are people who have tried to make their own games that are female, who have tried to be programmers, and they're still getting trashed on. It's sad that people will play a game that's designed by men more than they'll play a game that's designed by women, even if the game designed by women is better than the one designed by men. And I meet people all the time that say, no, I'm not like that. So who the frick out there is being mean to women? Who out there thinks that video gaming, programming, software creation, and coding are all a man's domain, like the last man's domain? The only last man's domain is standing up, peeing, and writing your name in the snow. Though I could do it, it would take me a couple tries. It really, the only thing that is the man's domain is the owner of sperm, and that too can be questioned as being male. So, maybe it's just a problem with the idea of genderization. You know, if we didn't have genderization, then no one would give a fuck who made what. No one would care who's playing